Hey YouTube, it's Marida from the Nurse Lounge, and tonight it is nighttime, and that's why I have all these bright lights on so you can see me. But tonight we're going to talk about something that keeps coming up in my DMs, and I want to dispel some myths real quick for you all. And there's two topics that I really want to talk about, and I'm just going to go ahead and combine them in one video. Okay, so the two topics are this. People have asked me time and time again, can you get a DNP without getting a master's degree? And so basically saying, without going to school for the master's degree, can you get the DNP? Can you go in from a BSN to a DNP? That's the first question. The second question is, or statement or question, is that people have heard, and even for myself, I heard the same thing, that you do not make any more money with a DNP than you do with a master's degree, so therefore it's not worth it. So I want to go ahead and talk about that as well. So we're going to talk about those two things, and if you want to hear what I have to say about both of those, stay tuned. My name is Dr. Marida P. I'm a registered nurse, and I am coming out of Bedside and going into academia full-time. I've been a nurse for 16 years now. I'm an OB/GYN well baby nurse. I'm a nurse mentor, nurse educator, as well as now also a nurse consultant and about to be a nurse blogger. That's something new I haven't told y'all, but yes, about to be a nurse blogger. But anyway, we'll talk about that later or in another video. So I want to go ahead and talk about these two things that people have asked me about when it comes to being a nurse. And the first thing they want to know is they want to get a DNP, but they want to know, is it necessary to get the MSN? And the truth be told, there is a bridge program at some schools. You have to find the school, you have to do the research, but find your school that says BSN to DNP. That is a bridge program, which means if you already have a BSN, then you will come out with your DNP typically in about 3 years. Typically. That's usually a full-time program, depending on the school. Again, do your research. Do not follow people, not even me per se, on YouTube and believe what they have to tell you without doing your own research. Everybody's life is different. Everybody's situation is different. The schools that we have to choose from is based off of, for one, our demographic, where we live, how much money we can afford to spend on school, how much time we have to go to school, with the criteria and the admission criteria to get into the school. We have so many different things that we have to do or have to deal with to get into the school that there is not no one size fits all. So if you're wanting to get your DNP and you do not want to get the master's degree, there are bridge programs for you. However, this is the big however, and I need you to listen to this part. You still take MSN classes. So you still take MSN classes even though you're going for your DNP. So you're still, that's the bridge, is the MSN part. You're still getting or taking the classes, but you're not getting an actual degree for it. You're just getting the DNP. So for me personally, I don't really find would it shorten your program? Yeah, you can get all that done in about 3 years, where if you actually did the MSN and the DNP, like two separate programs, it may take you, say, 4 to 5 years, depending on how long you are planning to go to school. So if you're going to school full time, you could probably get it done in about 4 years. If it took you, maybe 5 years, it took me 3 years per program. But for me personally, if I'm going to take MSN classes, I want a whole degree for it. If I'm going to take my MSN classes, that's just me. If I got to take MSN classes, I want to have the degree, the piece of paper that says I have earned my MSN. You will not get that with a bridge program. You will get your DNP at the very end that will have incorporated the MSN program, even though you don't get a degree for it. So I hope that makes sense. You will not get an MSN degree, but you still take MSN classes because that's the only way to bridge to the DNP program. You cannot go from a bachelor's degree level and never have seen not one master's degree course. We took advanced patho. We took research. We took health policy. We took all these different classes that we had to, advanced assessment and pathophysiology, and we took all these different classes we had to take. Those are all foundation courses for the DNP program. So why would you think you can take your bachelor's degree program and it's going to bridge you into a DNP without taking any master's degree programs in the middle? I mean, classes, I'm sorry, not programs, but classes. So you will still take master's level courses in nursing, even though you're not getting a master's degree, you're getting a doctoral degree. So govern yourselves accordingly. If you want to do that, there are options out there for you to do a bridge program for the BSN to DNP. I actually graduated with people who did that exact thing, and that's what they wanted to do. That's fine. For me personally, I wanted to have my own. I wanted to take the steps to say, okay, now that I understand my baccalaureate level of education, I want to understand totally what the master's level of education means and how that separates us from the DNP, the doctoral level or doctorate level of education. That is me. I did the research. That's what I wanted to do, and that's what works for me. You all have to do what works for you. So that's the first thing. Yes, you can do it, but you still take master's level courses no matter what. You're still taking them. You just don't get a degree for it. You just get the DNP at the end. So that's the first one. The second one is this. The question was, or the statement is, that people find that you do not get, what's the word? What did I say I was going to do? Oh, that you basically do not make any more money with a DNP than you did with a master's degree. So, yes and no to that. Why is it a yes? That's a true statement. It's a true statement because you chose to stay in the area that you happen to be in already. So if you choose to stay in the area that you happen to be in, and you're in your job, let's say you are FNP, or no, I'll come back to that. So I have a doctoral degree right now, but up until, well, as of this video, I'm still working bedside, but I'm about to quit. But anyway, the hospital is not going to pay me for my DNP. The same way the hospital didn't pay me for my master's degree. They are paying you for an RN skill set. They are paying you to do what an associate's or a baccalaureate degree level nurse does. So they don't care how many degrees you get beyond that. That's all they're paying you for because that's all the job requires. So if you are an FNP, some type of practitioner, maybe not FNP, but some type of practitioner, NP, and you stay in a skill set that all is required is to be a nurse practitioner, they're not necessarily going to pay you for your DNP because that is not what's required for that job. It's just like going to Walmart talking about you're going to be a cashier, but you have an associate's degree and whatever. They're going to tell you to go find a job that actually matches where you are getting your education from or at your level of education. So for me, do you think it makes sense for me to stay at the level of a bedside nurse? And I have a doctoral degree. So if I did do that, yes or no, I wouldn't be making any more money because I'm staying in a RN skill set. Now, for me personally, I am willing to move to a job that pays me for my degree. If you're not willing to move to a job that pays you for your degree, then yes, you will be making the same amount of money that you were making before. That's pretty much how that works. So if you want to make more money, you should have researched before you got the degree. Now, mind you, if it was required for you to get the degree to keep your job, that's something different. So for instance, CRNAs, certified registered nurse anesthetists, they right now have to go to school to get their doctoral degree. It is required now. So I don't know I know CRNAs make like 6 figures. I know that much. And they'll make 6 figures after the fact with a DNP. But the thing is, will they make any more money? I have no idea. But it's required of them to have that degree to be a CRNA. So they know that up front. But to be a bedside nurse, you don't have to have a master's degree to do that. So therefore, they're not going to pay you for that. You need to be willing to do some research to find out if the job you have now will pay you more money to have your doctoral degree. If they say no, then you have to make a decision and govern yourselves accordingly. If they say no, you're a nurse practitioner, we only need you to see our clients or our patients or whatever, that's all we need you to do. We're not paying you any extra money for the extra degree. You have a decision to make. But if you didn't ask the questions, if you didn't do any research, then that's going to be on you. So for me, I'm going to be making 6 figures with my DNP. I was not making 6 figures before. I'm currently not making 6 figures as we speak With my DNP, I'm going to be making six figures. That is excellent money as a nurse. But I'm going to a job that's paying me to have a doctoral degree. They require that degree to have that job. If they require the degree to have the job, they're supposed to pay you accordingly. Does that make sense? If they're not paying you accordingly, then you got to know what your worth is. And sometimes that means you have to be willing to move. Are you all willing to move? Are you willing to move to a different city, to a different state? Are you willing to move to a different job, like a different specialty? Sometimes you may have to move to, I'm in education as an example. And even though I'm in education, I have actually seen jobs for education, like clinical education, like directors or something like that, directors at a VA hospital. And you have to have your doctoral degree for that. So, and they were paying, I think, $90,000 to start, I think. Well, for me, that's a move up. I'm not interested in working at the VA though. I'm not interested in that. So therefore, I wouldn't be able to, I would have to stay where I'm at right now. And I would need to be content with that if I have no desire to move up or move out of there, if that makes sense. So that's the biggest thing that people need to kind of understand about, the DNP or any kind of doctoral degree in nursing. You have to go to where the money is. You have to go to where they're going to pay you for that degree. If you don't move to where they pay you for that degree, then no, you're not going to get paid for it. They're not going to pay you. It's like economics. It's supply and demand. If the demand is low, they're not going to pay you for it. If the demand is high, so for education, as an example, at the institution that I'm working at, they require you to have a doctoral degree. So therefore, they're going to pay me accordingly for my doctoral degree. They're not paying me to be a bedside nurse, which the pay would be even less. Think about those things and make sure you do your research. Do your research. Do not depend on totally YouTube to educate you and be your do all, say all, know all of how you govern your life. You will be set up for failure. These people are telling you these things because that is their experience and they didn't do any research. And it may be true that they didn't get a raise or they may not got any more money or whatever. But first of all, did they research why did they go back to school in the first place? Did they go because they had to? If they went because they had to keep the job that they have, then that's a choice that they made. It's no different than the LPNs when they got put out of the hospital. They were given the option to go back to school to get their RN. And some of those nurses chose not to go back to school to get their RN. So what did they do? They found another job. That may be what you need to do if you don't think it's really worth the investment for you. But for me personally, it was definitely worth the investment. I was definitely, what I paid in tuition for 1 year, or for my whole tuition for, let's put it this way. I paid $56,000 because I went to a private school for tuition for my 3 years at that school because it was a private school. I need to tell you that. Private schools cost more money. And plus, I was getting a doctoral degree. So those two things. I will make back that $56,000 within my first year of teaching. Okay. Plus what I was making at the hospital. Okay. So to put it in perspective for you, I will get my whole 3 years back in my first year of teaching because I made the decision to go from my MSN or my bachelor's degree to my doctoral degree. That's not everybody's story, which is why I tell you everybody does not have the same story. Everybody's not getting their DNP or a doctoral degree because of the fact that it's a money issue for them. Some people are getting that degree because it's a personal issue for them. It's something they wanted to do for themselves. There's been nurses that I have met who they're 60 years old and they go back to get their bachelor degree in nursing from an associate's degree. Why? They're about to retire in a few years, but they're doing it for personal reasons, not because of the fact that they want more money. So everything is not about money for most people anyway. For me, it was about me having a doctoral degree is what it was about. Now, for me also, I was going to go ahead and move to the job that pays me for my doctoral degree. And that's what I'm doing. And that's why I'll be making more money. So you all have to do what's good for you. There's not a one size fits all. You have to do some research. So, where do you want to go to school? What do you want to do? Like I said before, same thing with this situation as it was with the bridge program. What are the criteria to get in? What's the GPA requirements to get in? What type of tests have to be taken to get in? Did you have to have the GRE done for your master's program, which that was not required for my master's program, thank God. You have to know all those kind of criteria, and we all don't sit for the same schools. We don't apply for the same schools to go to. So we can't base everything off of what YouTube or what people on YouTube say, because everybody is not doing the same things type of thing, okay? And even for people who ask me about the T's, as an example, well, I went to school where we didn't have an entrance exam. So I went to school way back in the day. And we didn't have to take those type of tests to get into the program. It was just based off of GPA and interviews and things like that. And I had a prior degree. So me having a prior degree automatically boosted me up to get into the program. So that's how that worked. Anyway, hopefully you found this video informative. I keep getting those questions in my DMs. And I find that, most people are being misinformed. And they are not educated when it comes to, it's just based off of what people's opinions are. And it's okay to have an opinion, but state this is my opinion versus stating something to be fact. And I am stating what is factual, not just my opinion. Now, in my opinion, when it comes to the bridge programs, I'm not a fan. And the reason why I'm not a fan is because I want my whole separate degree. I want my MSN, and then I want my DNP. But I do understand that some people don't care nothing about that. They just want to get it done as little time as possible. And that's perfectly okay if that's what you want to do. For me, it wasn't like that. I want to have a designated. Have you met people who wanted to be a CNA? Then they wanted to be an LPN. Then they wanted to be the 2-year RN. Then they wanted to be the 4-year RN. Then they wanted to get their master's degree. And then they maybe want to go on. It's the same concept for me. I wanted to have that master's degree because I wanted to know what the master's level of education requires me to know as a master's level prepared nurse. And that is a foundation for your DNP. Everything builds off of one another. So therefore, that's why I say you still take the MSN classes. You still take majority of them. You may not take all of them, but you take majority of the classes. That's why it takes so long to get that bridge program. Because you're going to spend about a good year or so, maybe year and a half, year, depends, on the MSN classes. And then after that, you're going to go into, you're going full time. So you probably can't work. Or if you do work, it's going to be very limited. It's going to be very tough. And if you watch some of my other videos, you can't make any C's as a grade in the MSN program. You can make it on like a paper or an assignment, but you cannot make it as a final grade for a course. You fail the course automatically. So be mindful of that and kind of govern yourselves accordingly. Hopefully this has been enlightening for you, educational, something that you can learn from, something that you can go and take this information, go do research on your own. I always encourage you to do your own research. That way no one can say, or you can't say, well, such and such told me that. Okay, but you're the one who signed up for the program, sis. You signed up for the program. You're the one who done paid all the money. So go do your own research and see, okay, Dr. Marida is saying there are bridge programs. So if that's what you want to do, go to a bridge program, but definitely do the research at that school. Is it accredited school? Again, I always say, go look at the NCLEX pass rates, not because of the fact that you have to take an NCLEX, because you don't, because of the fact that the same faculty that is teaching those undergrads is probably teaching you. And if the undergrads are not successful taking that NCLEX or not passing it, then you are not going to get the best quality education at the master's level or the doctoral level, even, if that makes sense. So do some research. I have researched every single program that I have been in. I've researched the schools that I go to, their NCLEX pass rates, their accreditation rates. I looked at how long these people have been professors. When did they get their doctorate? What school did they come from? Because I want to make sure if I'm spending my $56,000 that I have to go work for, I want to make sure that the person who is teaching me is going to teach me quality education. I don't need them to just hand me no degree, which they didn't. Believe me, they didn't. I work for that. But I want to come out knowing something. If I'm gonna call myself Dr. Marida P, I want to be able to represent myself as Dr. Marida P with some sense, some education, some research based, some savviness, some savageness if I need to. But at the same time, I know exactly what I'm talking about. If I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm gonna say, hey, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. So anyway, hopefully this has been great for you, enlightening. I'm so glad this topic keeps coming up because, again, it inspired me to do this video. And hopefully we can put some things to rest when it comes to the more money thing. It just depends on you and what you want to do. if you want to follow me, no, not if you want to. You should be following me on IG. That's where all my questions come from, mainly is IG. So people who will follow me over there and DM me over there and say, hey, this is the question. And that's what prompts me to do the video. So definitely go follow me on IG and see what's going on in the Nurse Lounge over there. I put all my good news, bad news, life, good, bad, ugly, all over there. And that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Definitely thumbs this video up because a lot of you have asked for this video or something like it. And until the next time, you all take care. Bye-bye.